this chapter, witness Sripada Sri Vallabha's mercy when a true devotee faces death. When poison spreads and hope fades, Sripada's divine grace conquers fate itself. This is the miracle that shows his promise, that no harm can touch those who surrender completely. I thought that in this region, even the sellers of toddy seemed to be able to have philosophical conversations. He called loudly all the passers-by and asked them to come near him. A crowd gathered within a short amount of time. He was saying to the crowd, "Sirs, I tap toddy and sell in this area. I live according to Dharma. The palm tree is the wish-fulfilling tree for me. This Brahmin waited under the tree till I climbed the tree and brought down the liquor. He told me that he is an addict of toddy in spite of the fact that he is a Brahmin. He also said that he did not have the money to pay for it and requested me to pour some toddy in his throat and earn some good merit. I agreed. When I was about to pour the toddy, he observed that there was a great deal of movement of the people in the vicinity. Therefore, he is refusing the toddy because he fears that his Brahmanism would be tainted if he drinks toddy in the presence of all people." I thought that in this region, even the sellers of toddy seemed to be able to have philosophical conversations. He called loudly all the passers-by and asked them to come near him. A crowd gathered within a short amount of time. He was saying to the crowd, "Sirs, I tap toddy and sell in this area. I live according to Dharma. The palm tree is the wish-fulfilling tree for me. This Brahmin waited under the tree till I climbed the tree and brought down the liquor. He told me that he is an addict of toddy in spite of the fact that he is a Brahmin. He also said that he did not have the money to pay for it and requested me to pour some toddy in his throat and earn some good merit. I agreed. When I was about to pour the toddy, he observed that there was a great deal of movement of the people in the vicinity. Therefore, he is refusing the toddy because he fears that his Brahmanism would be tainted if he drinks toddy in the presence of all people. I will be a great sinner if I break my promise. This toddy is equal to the ambrosia to the people of my caste. I hope to derive lots of good merit by offering the drink to this Brahmin. This Brahmin is dashing all my hopes to the ground. All of you who are pious, please teach this Brahmin about Dharma and save me from being a sinner." As all the people who gathered there belonged to the Gauda I caste who made a living by tapping toddy. They gave much value to the words of their caste man. I was forced to drink the toddy. Then all of them dispersed. That strange person who made me drink toddy also went somewhere. I was thinking in my mind, taking a noble birth as a Brahmin and traveling to visit the divine incarnate Sripada, I drank this tainted drink. My Brahmanism was burnt to ashes. How can I see the countenance of the most sacred Sripada now? My fate is like this. Fate is very powerful. When this distorted fate is written on my forehead, how can it happen otherwise? I was feeling distressed. My footsteps were faltering. An unbearable smell of toddy was emanating from my mouth. I became somewhat giddy. I was blaming my misfortune and walking while chanting the name of Sripada. I saw a hut on the way. It appeared as a place of penance. I thought that some great people were there. I thought that I was unworthy of visiting pious people. I did not like to step into that hermitage. I felt that in a drunken state it was highly reprehensible to enter into the holy ashram. When I was going on my way from that hut, a person clapped and loudly called, "Shankarbhat, stop. Sri Dattananda Swami ordered that you should be brought to the ashram." I was astonished at the divine play and stopped. I was taken before Sri Dattananda Swami, with mercy showering from his eyes. Sri Swami asked me to take a bath immediately. After the bath, I was given sweet fruits. After I ate them, he called me close to him and said, "My dear Sripada Vallabha, the new incarnation of Sri Dattatreya, has immense compassion for you. What a great compassion he has for you. He made you drink the divine nectar with his healing hands. You mistook him as a Gauda tapping toddy. You were deluded into thinking that the divine ambrosia was liquor. What a strange irony. I felt as if my head reeled. I thought the whole universe that I was seeing was disappearing gradually before my eyes. Then I experienced as if the waves of the great ocean of boundless cosmic power engulfed me. In that infinite power, my small and despicable egoistic form of Jivatma disappeared. I was immersed in a particular divine bliss in which the entity I was not known or cannot be known. When the limited I was destroyed, this whole creation looked like a dream. Then Sri Swami sprinkled mantra jala on me. He smeared the holy ash on my forehead with his divine hands. Then I became my normal self. I experienced divine bliss for a few moments. When I became conscious of the external surroundings, I realized that I got dragged into the gross plane again. Sri Swami said, "You belonged to the Gauda caste in one of your births. You were drinking cheap liquor terribly. In the innermost recesses of your personality, the desire to drink toddy still remained. Without the grace of Sripada, you would have been addicted to a drinking habit and fallen down ethically even though you are now a Brahmin. The glances of Sripada are ambrosial. There are many accidents indicated in your horoscope. He was removing them with his ambrosial looks, even without your knowledge. Who is capable of describing the greatness of Sri Guru? Even the Vedas kept mum while describing his greatness. I said, "Sir, I want to know the details of Sri Guru's greatness." My enthusiasm to know more and more about Sri Guru is increasing. Sri Guru is repeatedly declaring that he would incarnate as Narasimha Saraswati. I have an ardent desire to know the inner meanings of his sportive plays. For that, Swami replied, "My son, the main objective of the spiritual quest of Vedic seers is the spiritual inner truth. The most important among their mystical words is Ruthamu, which means truth. That is the truth of the soul and the truth of the material object. When this is commented according to the ritualistic practice, it is called in a variety of names, such as truth, sacrifice, water, and food. In the same way, the word Saraswati is very significant. The river Saraswati flows underground. It was described as the one that preaches truthful sayings, one that preaches truth, one that preaches consciousness full of ideas or perceptions, one that tells about the great ocean, and the one that illuminates our minds. So Sri Guru is a preaching power, a perennial stream of teaching. His is a voice of truth. He brightens our minds. He installs supreme truth and inner wisdom in us. Yajna in Vedas is an external sign of the inner nature. Men offer whatever belongs to them to the celestials through sacrificial rites. In turn, the celestials give back cows and horses. Herds of cows mean riches of brilliance. Horses represent the wealth of strength. The celestials also grant us powers of penance. To ensure that the secret meaning of the Vedas are disclosed only to the worthy people, they were preserved with utmost secrecy. Ghee, clarified butter, is the main material used in sacrificial ceremonies. Ghee also has another literal meaning of brilliance. In the Vedas, the letter Go has the meaning of light. A horse in the Vedas represents strength, strength of the soul, and the power of penance. In their mantras, sages asked for a boon of a horse with the face of a cow. It means that the sages desired spiritual powers that were driven by the illumination. It appears as if the hermits prayed through many mantras, desiring sons and progeny, but there is a subtle meaning in their prayers. The birth of a son is the sign indicating the generation of inner strength. This was described by them in the following manner. The fire is personally being born to us as a son. The fire is a son who is born in Yajna. He is a father of all fathers as the universal fire. In the same fashion, Salila and Udaka, water, were used with an inner suggestive meaning. For instance, take the sentence, Salilam aplaketam. It means that the ocean without consciousness, which is the divine merged in the dark ocean called Jadabdi, takes the shape of divinity on the basis of its own strength. This was also described as the great ocean. In one of the suktas, sages declared that Saraswati shows the rays of inner wisdom as the waters of the upper strata of Salila. There is an inner meaning to the 7 streams mentioned in the Vedas. They are the divine attributes of the heaven. Sage Parasara asserted that the knowledge that resides in the water is life of the universe. One who steals cows is known as Vrutra and Dasyu. Vrutra is a demon who steals brilliance, waters, supreme truth, and higher consciousness, and keeps them secretly under his control. The forces which perform such terrible acts are called Vrutras and Dasyus. They are the forces of darkness. They are great enemies of those who seek knowledge of truth. Sri Swami thus concluded, boons given to the Audumbara tree, the glory of the incarnation of Sri Narasimha Saraswati. Sri Swami said, "My dear, Mahavishnu appeared as Narasimha Swami and came out of a wooden pillar made out of the Audumbara tree and saved Prahlada. Prahlada became the king. That wooden pillar, which broke into 2 pieces, began to sprout after some time. There, an Audumbara tree took shape. Prahlada, who was astonished, started worshipping it. One day, Sri Dattatreya appeared in a meditative pose and taught knowledge to Prahlada. Sri Datta, who discerned Prahlada's interest for Dvaita, theory of dualism, blessed that Prahlada would take the form of an ascetic in Kali Yuga and uplift the downtrodden and propagate the ideology of dualism. The Audumbara tree took to a human form and fell on the feet of Sri Datta and sought a boon. Then Sri Datta promised that he would reside at the base of each Audumbara tree in a subtle form, and since he emerged from it in the shape of Narasimha, he would incarnate again in Kali Yuga under the name of Narasimha Saraswati. All this was narrated in Pimgya Brahmana. This Pimgya Brahmana is now available only near the Shambhala village, located in the Himalayas, the land of penance of the seven seers. The knowledge of Pimgya Brahmana was lost in other regions. When a question arose whether he was there, Narasimha Swami sprang from the lifeless pillar in an angry form to demonstrate that he was very much there. In the same way, in Kali Yuga, when people with impure minds raise perverted arguments as to whether God is there, the Almighty incarnates under the name of Narasimha Saraswati, not only to prove his existence, but also to protect devotees, as was done in the case of Prahlada. Then, I asked Sri Swami, "Sir, have you seen Sripada in Pithakapuram? My mind is getting excited to hear his childhood sportive plays. The great miracle of Sripada Sri Swami started telling. I used to stammer since my childhood. People used to ridicule me. In addition, a strange disease attacked me. From my 5th year, the disease grew intensely. With the lapse of 1 year, I used to appear as if 10 years of age had lapsed. When I was 10 years old, I had the qualities of an old man of 50 years. In Sri Pitikapuram, a ritual was conducted under the supervision of Sri Bapanarya. Brahmins were given generous gifts. Monetary gifts were given liberally to the scholars. Since he heard the great sportive plays of Sripada from many people, my father took me to that ritual. The age of Sripada would not exceed 6 years. Ghee necessary for the ritual was procured. All that ghee was kept in the custody of an old Brahmin. This person was not only a miser, but also greedy. He hid 1/4 of the ghee secretly in his house, and sent only the remaining 3/4 for the ritual. The ritual started. The priests conducting the ritual thought that the ghee would not be sufficient. It was difficult to procure ghee immediately. Such obstacle caused to the ritual was a matter of concern to all. Sri Bapanarya looked at Sripada with a tranquil face. Then Sripada remarked, "Some thieves are thinking to conquer my kingdom and steal my money. A great darbar is going to be established in Pithakapuram in my name. I will allow those thieves to come inside. When they come out with the stolen money, I will stand near the door secretly and will hit them with a big stick. With that, some people will die on the spot. Some others will run away, leaving the money. I will order Saniswara to live in the houses of those thieves, along with Jesta Devi." The words of Sripada were not understood by anyone. They thought that he was telling about some future happenings. In the meanwhile, Sripada called the old Brahmin and made him write on a palm leaf in the following manner. Mother Ganga, give the ghee required for conducting the ritual. Our grandfather Sripenda Venkatapaya Srestri will settle the debt. This is the command of Sripada Srivallabha. This letter was shown to Sripenda Venkatapaya Srestri. He agreed. 4 people, along with the old Brahmin, went to Padagaya Tirtha taking that letter. They submitted the letter into the pond. They collected water from it in the receptacles which they took with them. The water was brought to the place of ritual, amidst the chanting of Vedic mantras. The water changed into ghee in the plain sight of all people present there. The ritual concluded successfully. As promised before, Sreshti filled in the same vessels the full measure of ghee as was promised, and poured it into the Padagaya Tirtha. The ghee changed into water while being poured. My father submitted my miserable state to Sripada. Sripada said, "Wait for some time. I will cure the disease of your boy. I will also remove his stammering. A house has to be burnt. An auspicious time has to be fixed for it." His ways are unpredictable. In the meanwhile, the old Brahmin came there. He was scared whether any harm would be done to him for stealing the ghee. He was unsure whether it would be better to confess Sripada about stealing the ghee. He arrived there with a firm decision that regardless of what might happen, it would be only good to have the darshan of Sripada. An interesting discussion took place between both of them. Sripada said, "Dear old man, you are an expert in identifying the auspicious times. A house has to be burnt down. Identify a correct auspicious time for it." The old man replied that auspicious times are selected for the construction of houses and for foundation laying ceremonies, but not for burning down houses. Sripada questioned, "How can there be no auspicious time for stealing and for arson?" The old Brahmin said, "I did not hear of such auspicious times. I do not know whether such events take place during inauspicious times and unlucky hours." Sripada said, "Then, is there any unlucky time currently happening now?" The old Brahmin replied, "Such an evil time is passing by now." Sripada exclaimed, "Old man, what good news you have told!" A rogue stole ghee procured for the sacred ritual. The hunger of the fire god is not yet satisfied. He is currently burning the ghee that justly belongs to him, and also the house along with it. In this way, he is satiating his hunger. He is dancing with joy now. The face of the old Brahmin turned pale on hearing the words of Sripada. His house was reduced to ashes in a short time. Sripada ordered the old Brahmin to bring some ash from the burnt house. That old Brahmin realized that Sripada was capable of granting boons with grace and also to cause losses with his wrath. So he obediently brought the ash. Sripada mixed the ash in a glass of water and commanded me to drink it. He wanted me to do like that for 3 days. We were guests in the house of Sri Bapanarya. The strange disease in my body, along with my stammering, was removed. I became healthy. Sripada placed his divine benevolent hand on my head and transferred power into me and made me gratified. Then Sripada said, "From today, you will become famous with the name of Dattananda. May you become a householder and be redeemed by preaching righteous conduct to people. In the past lives, you and this old Brahmin were doing business jointly. Enmity developed in business, and each of you tried to murder the other. One day, you visited the house of the old Brahmin and made him drink payasam pretending love. Not knowing that you have mixed poison in the payasam, the old Brahmin drank it and died. At the same time, the old Brahmin employed some workmen without your knowledge and set your house on fire. Your house was burnt to ashes. Your wife died in the burning house. On returning to your house, you died of a heart attack after seeing that everything was lost. As you poisoned someone in the past, you were subjected to a strange disease in this birth. As this old Brahmin got your house burnt in the previous birth, his house was burnt down in this birth. I released both of you from your bonds of karma through these playful acts. With the grace of Sripada, I returned home. I became erudite in Vedas and Sastras. Sri Narasimha Varma constructed a new house for the old Brahmin. As the bonds of karma of both of us were cut off with the intervention of Sripada, it only brought goodness to both of us. His leelas are divine. A new house was acquired by the old Brahmin. My disease vanished. My stammering was also rectified, and I became a scholar. The Daksha Yagna performed in the absence of Shiva turned into a battlefield. It is better to note the subtleties of Dharma. My dear Shankar Bhatt, all devas are born out of brilliant illumination. Aditi has an infinite form. Devas are her children. They are responsible for the progress and development of mankind. Devas give aura to men. They shower wealth of divine consciousness on the souls of men. They sustain truth. They are the builders of the divine world. They conquer those evil forces which cause obstacles to complete liberation and inexpressible bliss of the mankind. After seeing devas and after observing their various activities, sages describe the devas with different names. The words used in the Vedas have a special meaning. In popular usage, Aswa means a horse. However, for Vedic sages, Aswa is a symbol for life consciousness, which empowers the mental consciousness and respiratory power. This is a secret of the Kriya Yoga 1. Groups of words are also living entities, like herbs and cattle. They are not a creation of the intellect of man. They are full of life and originate from the mother. They originate from the seed sounds. They are highly developed living sounds. They are the numerous progeny of the grammatical roots. Their development is inexhaustible, and they divide into different groups and multiply as various classes, races, lineages, and families. In the array of words, each one has got a unique structure and a rousing history. Why Brahmins are called Busaras, gods on earth? According to the Vedic seers, language was not created by air, fire, or Indra. The mind originated from the tendencies of the life organs. The intellect of the mind was formed on the basis of the cooperation and repulsion of the sensory organs. In this evolutionary method only, the experiment of language and teaching evolved following the living organs and consciousness. My boy, all devas are the embodiments of mantras. All this world is under the control of the devas. Such devas are under the control of mantras. Those mantras are under the control of pious Brahmins. Therefore, Brahmins are the gods on earth. In the beginning, when sounds just originated, they were used by men only to convey very limited and elementary ideas which could be grasped by the 5 organs, such as light, movement, touch, cold and heat, expanse, use of force, speed, etc. However, as his intellect expanded, the variety and certainty gradually increased in the language. It means that from ambiguity to keen certainty, from material items to mental items, from known items to unknown items, language developed and progressed. Reading of sacred books is highly beneficial. You have been selected for writing the sacred biography of Sripada. Even though you will write it in Sanskrit, after some time, it will be translated into Telugu, the mother tongue of Sripada. The result from a devoted reading of the book will be the same, regardless of the language it is studied in. Whoever is reading it at any place, Sripada will remain there in a subtle form and will hear it. I will tell a story as an example. Listen to it carefully. Sripada attained 7 years of age. The sacred thread ceremony was performed to him strictly according to the Vedic ritualistic procedure. In those days, when such events took place in the houses of wealthy householders, a lot of excitement and flurry used to be there. There was no limit to the happiness of Sri Bapanarya on that occasion. However, there was no opportunity to a pariah mendicant called Datta Das to witness that great celebration. Since he was an outcast, he did not get that chance to witness the celebration. He called all his caste people to his house and said that he would narrate the Datta Charitra. All of them reached his house with great eagerness. Datta Das began to narrate the Datta Charitra like this. That supreme light that was born as the son of Mother Anasuya and sage Atri in the old ages has incarnated today in this Kali Yuga in our Pitikapuram as Sripada Sri Vallabha. The sacred thread ceremony of the great Lord was performed today. After the sacred thread ceremony, our Lord is now radiating with divine, brilliant splendor. May good fortune and prosperous auspiciousness be forever to the Lord who is the uplifter of destitute people. Datta Das did not have any scholarship to tell more than that about Sri Guru. He was repeating the same story again and again. The listeners were also hearing it with rapt attention. This went on for 53 times. The ambrosial looks of Sripada fell on Datta Das. After the conclusion of the sacred thread ceremony, Sripada announced to the Brahmins there that he had to go at once to the house of the pariah mendicant. Sri Bapanarya asked him the reason. Sripada said, Datta Das, who has a pure mind, is narrating my history. If what he told each time is regarded as one chapter, it must be concluded that 53 chapters are completed. I must immediately give him the result that is to be granted to those who complete 53 chapters with devotion and diligence. There are no distinctions of race and caste to the affection of Sripad towards his devotees. The Brahmins did not grant permission to Sripad to visit Datta Das. Then Sripad became furious and said with rage, Those people who are being cruelly suppressed by you as outcasts and pariahs will have my grace abundantly in the ensuing century. They will occupy exalted positions in the future century. In the coming centuries, a majority of the Brahmins will follow servitude and be degraded and debased from dharma and karma. My words are like edicts on stone. There is no possibility to alter even one letter in them. Nevertheless, if any one of the Brahmins live virtuously and have devotion of Datta, I will protect them, just as an eyelid protects the eye. Sripada's parents tried to pacify Sripada. After some time, Sripada became quiet and kept silent. Exactly at the same time, Sripada appeared in the house of Datta Das in his divine resplendent form. He accepted the sweet fruits offered by them with love. He drank with immense love the milk given to him. He distributed the sweet mithai to them with his own divine hands. Sripada blessed everyone in the house of Datta Das. My boy Shankar Bhatt, have you seen the divine love of Sripada? He is satisfied only with your inner feelings. He is not concerned with your family background, lineage, or other material matters. Even if a low-caste person gives Datta Prasada, it has to be received with devotion. If disrespect is shown, people will be subjected to hardships and losses. The 12 statements of assurance declared to devotees by Sripada. Hear carefully the sayings of Sripada in the house of Datta Das. I will remain in a subtle form in every place where my biography is devotedly read. Just like an eyelid protects the eye, I will protect the person who is dedicated to me through mind, word, and deed. Daily in the afternoon, I will seek alms in Sri Pitikapuram. My arrival is a divine secret. 4. I will reduce all the karmas into heaps of ashes of those who constantly meditate upon me. Even if the karmas are accumulated from many births, I will burn them down. 5. If you give food to those who wail, O Ramachandra, food, I will be pleased. 6. I am Sripada Srivallabha. Sri Mahalakshmi will shine with all her glorious attributes in the houses of my devotees. 7. If you have a pure heart, my grace will always be on you. 8. I am agreeable even when you adore any form of deity or take the support of any Sadguru. 9. All your prayers will reach me. My grace will be transmitted to you through the form of the deity you worship or through your Sadguru. 10. Sripada Sri Vallabha is not merely confined to this name and form. You can know my cosmic form, which encompasses all forms of deities and all forces as my integral parts, only through strict observance of the spiritual discipline. 11. Mine is a comprehensive yogic incarnation. Great yogis and great siddhas constantly meditate upon me. 12. If you take me as the support, I will preach you the path of dharma and also the path of karma. I will always protect you from the downfall.